Hello and welcome to Professing Risk. This is your host, Tony Cañas, and I think I'm recording episode 240 today, something along the lines. And today I have with me Eric Mitisek. And as usual, I did not actually remember to ask you how you pronounce your last name. How do you pronounce your name?
You nailed it. It's Eric Mitisek.
Mitisek. Okay, perfect. Eric Mitisek, who is CEO and a bunch of other roles, CEO, innovation leader, chief innovation officer, etc., for Highwing. Eric, thank you for joining me today. How's it going?
Hey, Tony, absolute pleasure. Really appreciate you having us in Profiles and Risk. It's a great resource that you've built for the industry, and really excited to see what you and the team have created, and absolute honor to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I have a lot of fun doing this. So I always give the guest the chance to give the elevator pitch. What is Highwing? What do you guys do?
Highwing really exists to save time in the procurement of insurance. The mission that we're on is that we believe that it takes too long for insureds to work with brokers, and brokers to work with carriers, and carriers to respond to a opportunity, and ultimately end up in a bound policy, and for a whole myriad of reasons. And so we're on a relentless path to be able to reduce the amount of time it takes to be able to understand, analyze risk, ultimately quote and bind insurance. And we do that through an open data platform that connects brokers and carriers.
Okay, an open data platform. Okay, so I was looking at your website earlier today, and the promise is pretty cool. And as a former underwriter myself, I was an underwriter twice. First with Nationwide Agribusiness, small commercial, and then with Liberty Middle Market. And as I was sitting there in Liberty Middle Market, especially, I always wondered what this is. Right, it was 5 years ago, 2015, 2016. Submission would come in on a PDF, right, at a cord in a PDF. And my girlfriend works at a big broker. PDFs, I know from her and from other brokers that Accord PDF came from an agency management system. So why is my UA and my processing people, why are they spending hours entering 100 locations into the system instead of just having a file that we can both work on? And I've asked that question before, and the answer I've gotten kind of from the community, not from the carriers, but from the insurance nerds community, is carriers don't want to make it too easy to shop them. So they don't want, they don't want the broker to be able to get a price from every carrier if they're unlikely to write it. So how are you guys doing this in a way? Because I see the problem definitely is there, but how do you fix it in a way that doesn't scare one or the other side, either the carrier or the broker?
I think it's a great question. And when you take cues of where the innovation's been happening over the course of the last 5 or 6 years at scale, you can start really in personal lines. And looking at a personal lines underwriting, exactly what is happening, where, whether it's my home or auto, I enter a handful of pieces of data. I probably don't have a broker involved in the transaction, and they'll be able to procure that relatively quickly with multiple quotes, and I can shop in real time. And you saw that innovation now really starting to span into middle market. So instead of owning a home and a car, I own a small business. I've got a few employees, maybe multiple locations. And again, you're starting to see the expansion of the ability to shop on price really quickly. Our promise is that we're really long on trusted advisors and leading brokers in the industry. We believe that those who have spent their career understanding the insurance market, understanding the right products to provide those who are building companies to succeed, are a rare breed. And we believe they need to be in a transaction that's faster and not removed from it. And we also believe that when you think about the ability to shop price, It's ironic, from a community response perspective, because speed is the currency of getting deals done in insurance. We've had some of our partners tell us that even a simple response a day faster, they've seen as much as 20% lift in their ability to grow placements and bind insurance, bind transactions. And so if speed's the currency, slowing down the process, I think, to your point, could have been a strategy historically. I think as we look forward, speed is going to win, and the middle market and large commercial carriers that adopt processes, systems, and underwriting infrastructure that allows them to operate at speed, they will inherently book more business because of responding to their clients, the broker, and ultimately the broker's client, the client, in a much faster way. So I'm bullish on that, but I do think there's a whole series of history as to why things are slow, and one by one we're trying to take them to task and figure out to show the industry that speeding up the transaction is actually a good thing for all partners.
One thing from the website that really, as a former underwriter, really got me excited was this idea of being able to look at the book and ask for things that I want to quote on, right? The underwriters generally don't have that. I mean, we have sales managers out there trying to funnel business our way that's with an appetite, but nothing where we can proactively go like, oh, hey, you're the one that does that risk. That we'd be really competitive at that one, right? That's right within our appetite.
Yep.
So I thought that was very, very, very interesting. Tell me more about that and how that can be attractive for the carriers.
So as we're embarking on building an open data platform to connect the industry, we look at the entire transaction life cycle as our playing field. And so from the time that a policy is bound or a risk is sold, and the ability for the broker to track that risk all the way back to renewal, we look at that as our playing field or our arena. And so for us, the one thing as we started to dig into the overall process, again, in that lack of time and kind of inefficiency category, as renewals or X dates often come up, underwriters and brokers always feel pressed to get quotes out, to get the right proposals in front of clients, and ultimately bind the right program for the solution. And in the sea of that, we noticed that marketing can be more efficient. Is there a better way to approach the marketing process where we can include trusted partners and leading carriers in the trade in advance? So they've got, effectively a look at book, to be able to conveniently match their appetite and the risk that they're most interested in, most able to successfully bind. Why not make that available to the benefit of both the broker, the carrier, and most importantly, the insured? And so we launched that product in the fall of 2019. And it's been really interesting to see, how carriers have been able to adopt that. And, our philosophy internally is that we meet our partners where they are. So whether they have the ability to, work, through our interface, or whether they like to run analytics on top of some of the data that we operate on, we make it convenient to be able to build better relationships with their leading broker partners by being able to get in front of marketing opportunities. And again, all of this work is in the pursuit of how do we speed up the trade. And so if I have a little bit of insight that that's a risk that I can place, and I can bring an opportunity to the broker in advance of the renewal, all of a sudden checkbox, I've sped up a component of that renewal, and I made it easier to get back to my client with a great value and great cover for that opportunity.
Okay. One of the big problems we have with an insurtech is many insurtech are a cool tech hammer looking for an insurance nail, right? So if what I understood from your website is you guys were created by brokers, and you were telling me earlier that your lead investor is Broker Tech, the accelerator. So how did it happen? What's the origin story?
One of the most exciting things about Highwing as a business is that when I say born by brokerage, we were physically incubated inside of IMA Financial Group, which is today a top 20 independent brokerage in the United States. And the opportunity that we had to be able to build the business there was incredible because it allowed us to work the solution backwards. So to your point, a lot of insurtechs are a hammer looking for a nail. We went right to the source and said, when insurance associates, AEs, account executives, and those associates that are working with clients to really go through the renewal and application process, go through the negotiation and the marketing process, ultimately present the binder to the client, what are the biggest problems that large group of employees in any brokerage faces? And that's where we started our journey. And what we realized was there was a tremendous amount of inefficiency around organizing data inside of middle market brokerage. We realized that not only was there a lot of inefficiency, systems weren't connected. So things that you would think would be easy to operate and connect were all running individually. Most importantly, we recognized that a majority of the transactions, if not all of them in the firm, were happening through email. And so we looked at that as a very solution-rich environment and a place that we thought we could really build some technology at scale that could really solve problems for desk level broker associates who are deep in the placement and application process for clients. And ultimately, by fixing that component of the transaction, the waterfall effect is it brings a better environment or experience for the insured. It brings a better application and submission to the carrier. And the collective sum of those parts makes insurance really cool, makes it really fun, and we hope makes it a lot faster.
Okay. So on the broker side, do I have to give up my agency management system and use your product instead, or does it plug in?
No, being an open data platform, the most important thing for us is that we meet our clients where they are with the software and tools they have in their agency. And so it's really important that great agency management systems, we have the opportunity to work interoperably with them and be able to leverage information that is broker information that they have in-house that helps them drive their marketing and application and submission process. But also, how does that information live and get put back into the agency management system for the overall internal reporting and analytics, renewal, accounting, billing, et cetera, all the myriad of things that agency management systems do. And so we really want to be a partner to the industry. We look at organizing the data layer as an innovation opportunity. We look at it that brokers who organize their data layer are not only organizing data, but they're enabling their firm to innovate, and they can innovate with their agency management partner. They can innovate with their insurtech tools or insurtech partner. They can innovate with their CRM. They can innovate with their marketing strategy. Having really good, organized, unified data allows them to do that. And so Highwing sits as the power plant inside of an agency to be able to work that transaction from a placement perspective, but in effort of working the placement transaction, we're in touch with a lot of the overall client data. And so that, again, to your point, there's a lot of partners that create the transaction or the submission in insurance. And the ability for those tools and those software platforms to communicate and work with one another really makes a very defensible and nimble platform for brokers to operate into the future.
Okay. Is there a like minimum broker size? Excuse me. A minimum, like is there a minimum size for the brokerage for it to make sense to work with you guys? It sounds like it's a great solution for like kind of those regional, super regional, or larger brokerages.
Yep. You absolutely nailed it. I mean, our core clients to date have been the regional, super regionals, middle market, independent agencies. In terms of brokers we would work with, Um, we're open to working with brokers that are innovative in their thinking, that have adopted an innovation mindset, that really willing to set up their platform for future growth, who believe that a data-driven environment is an important element in building a leading brokerage firm. And today we work with agencies as small as 20 to 25 million in revenue, and then all the way up to those, to your point, large super regionals and above.
Okay. And what's the revenue model like, or what's the pricing like? Is it by the seat, or based on the size of the book, or?
Yeah, today we charge subscription fees to have access to our platform, to our brokers and carriers, and we make it really approachable for brokers to be able to engage with Highwing and start to organize their core agency level data. And our subscriptions are annual, and we size that based on the overall opportunities that relates to some of the agency, employees, etc.
Okay. And on the carrier side, how's the integration process? Because on the broker side, at least you've got like 2 or 3 agency management systems that are completely dominant. But on the carrier side, you've got, well, Guidewire and Duck Creek, and then thousands of home built systems, right? so how do you interface with the carriers?
It's a great question. Carriers today, especially leading primary carriers, are in all different chapters of their innovation journey. Some of them are starting to develop open APIs to be able to start to transact on the perimeter of their systems. Some are trying to leverage their small commercial and personal lines portals as that landing pad for some of that data and some of those applications. And some are spectators to the innovation and waiting to see which ones track. And my guess is that once they start to see some movement as to the industry going one way or the other around the adoption of kind of new application and submission APIs or tools, they'll quickly move in and leverage those tools and that innovation. And so today, Highwing meets our partners where they are. We always like to say that we sell our product with batteries included, but removable. And so whether our partners can leverage the full force of our API and our e-submission platform, or they need to leverage our multi-submit and our email platform, we make it easy for them to engage with Highwing, and we always want to make sure that we don't stand in the way of business getting done. And so our technology stack is nimble, it's flexible, and regardless of the carrier technology, if they are placing insurance, if insurance is being placed with them by a leading broker that's a client of ours, we're going to make sure that we can connect the dots.
Okay. On the carrier side, who's the client? Is it the CIO? Is it the chief underwriter or the head of sales? Who's generally bringing you in?
Usually, from a distribution perspective, we work a lot with the distribution teams and head of commercial lines and in field operations and field marketing. To your point, when you think about the way that carriers are structured, when you have your large groups of frontline underwriters, there's an entire executive and operational team that are looking for tools, resources, and technologies to be able to allow those underwriters to be more efficient, to drive more business, to grow book, and grow margin for the firm. And so our core clients are those leaders who are really charged with those tasks.
Okay. What's next? What can you share about the future of the company, of the product?
And Highwing, as we look forward through the balance of 21, we're just relentlessly focused on making sure that we have the ability to scale our markets and carrier markets to make our technology and our API submission process that much more scalable. And so from a technology perspective, we're continuing to build tools that really start to not only assemble the placement faster and more intelligently, but drive communication, drive notifications, drive messaging, drive statusing, really start to break down the overall components of the placement and make it easy to consume, modules that associates can work on and work in, and tools that allow that to be delivered as a much more structured and organized data package. Those are the things we're most focused on. We're doing some really messy, challenging, hard work around building, a placement and submission platform for middle market. And as you know, from being an underwriter, brokers send in information all different, but generally the same. And so as we're building technology for that, we're constantly thinking of, what are the core pieces of technology that are one to many, and what are the core pieces of technology that need to be flexible that might be one to one, and how do we manage and maintain that from a placement and application perspective. So we really want to just expand our capabilities around making it easier for brokers to have the ability to submit to a multitude of markets. And you're going to see a lot of great things for us throughout the balance of the year around that topic in that arena.
Okay, I'm always curious about the career side, how people ended up doing what they're doing. So looking at your LinkedIn, so KPMG consultant, then hotels, luxury brands, and in the last like decade, focused on the innovation side. Why insurance? Like when some recruiter gave you a call about this opportunity, uh, most people generally go like, insurance.
So yes, the common thread in my career is I've always somehow found myself in some role related to software and building a technology at an emerging time in an industry. That's been my common thread. And so in 2002, I was the first employee at an early stage business, building kind of a precursor to Pandora for the customization of internet streaming and internet music. And following that, I was part of Steve Case's first investment after AOL, where the company we built defined an entire new category of vacation home living called destination clubs. And following that, I tried to rebuild a technology-enabled kind of innovation around the next generation of travel agents, which really started to get my eyes around agency and brokerage, where we tried to build a very separate booking and submission platform for luxury vacations that were, full service, all encompassing, from air, ground, hotel experience, et cetera. And that gave me a really deep window into agency. And all along the while, I was involved in our innovation community here in Colorado. I had a chance to get to know Rob Cohen, the CEO and chairman of IMA Financial, really well over the course of a decade. And lunch after lunch, he would continue to say, information is changing in insurance. This big data and analytics wave is a really big thing for us. We're trying to understand how analytics impacts our business. And there was just this constant pressure on repeat of, like, you could see the nascent elements of insurance and technology coming together. And so as we started talking about Highwing, right around the dawn of InsurTech, this was 2015, 2016, we started having really serious discussions around the what ifs. And in 2017, I joined Rob and the team to really start to build out Highwing full time. Again, at the very, very beginning of what I would, I think I always like to say, Caribou Honig always says, the API-ification of the industry. We saw a broad vision, taking patterns from healthcare, taking patterns from fintech, saying, what's happened in these two massive industries that's going to happen to insurance. And when we looked at the scale of the opportunity, and we've always been focused on building businesses with amazing employees with amazing culture. Insurance seemed like a great place for us to be able to execute something that not only served our shareholders, but more importantly, serve the industry with an impact that could long outlive our work. And so we got really, really excited about that.
Excellent. Definitely doing some cool stuff, and the vision is grand, right? There are 1,700, 1,800 insurtechs out there. We've had a couple hundred of them on the podcast. It is rare that usually they're focusing on a very, very small piece of the of insurance. You guys are looking at a big part of it. And again, as you mentioned earlier, a lot of the innovation has been personal lines, because that's a much more transactional side. So it's a lot easier to automate. Middle market and large commercial is a whole different game. So very cool to get an idea what you guys are doing, and I hope you succeed, because would definitely prefer to work in an insurance industry where we can easily exchange data in an open format, and in an open system that speeds things up and works for both sides.
One of the things that drives us is that when I first started getting into the industry, I always was told that insurance isn't something that's bought; it's something that's sold. Meaning that most of the time our buyers are reluctant to the process. It's a necessity to be able to take the risk and grow their business or their endeavor in a way that they want to offset any any activities that could harm or endanger the business. And so it's always one of those things that no one jumps out of bed and says, I'm going to go buy my general liability policy this morning and I can't wait. We really see a day where that actually changes. I think through technology, the ability to have transparency to the client as to how those products or family of products start to work together as a solution for clients, it starts to add some excitement to understanding both not only how the products work, but how the pricing works around the products. Because right now there's a lot of opacity around price to value. So how do you bring a lot more transparency and clarity? The industry for a long time, there's been client opacity around the clarity as it relates to the value between the product and sometimes the rate. And we think that technology has the ability to start to make insurance and the buying process really exciting, both through the technology experience, like how do I buy it, both through the data and the information that's exchanged, how do I understand it, and how do I feel great about the value and rate, and most importantly, how do we do it really fast? So it's not something that drags on for 40, 50, 60 days in the middle market. It's something that I put in my calendar, and in a couple of weeks, I'm wrapped up with it. And I can email my CEO or my board and say, hey, renewal is done. And we got a great rate, and we've got great partners, and we've got great emerging products. And we did some really creative things with our trusted advisor to make sure we've got the best program. Like, we look at that as our playground. And in the world of Highwing, we think that technology has the ability to really not only amplify the value of the transaction, but make it really fun, make it fun for associates to put it together, make it faster so they can spend more time working with clients, because we all love talking with our clients. None of us like copying and pasting in Excel. So how do we just maximize those high value activities and just have a blast doing what we do, which is, sell insurance. And we're really excited about it. And I appreciate your vote of confidence, because we think we're onto something that can really change the industry.
Excellent. We don't have enough people who are excited about insurance. And I've done a pretty good job of building a tribe for those people.
Yeah, you're I would say you're like one of the kings of excitement of insurance. I love it.
I definitely was one of the early ones that publicly talked about how cool insurance is. So given the fact that you didn't grow up in the industry, I'm glad that you are as excited as I am about it, because it's so crucial to everything in our economy, and it just has not gotten a lot of love over the years. I'm glad to see it's getting it now a little better.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. What I was attracted by, I think the technical challenges in complex risk is just a really exciting intellectual space. Period. Like, it's a big monster of a intellectual space to operate in. The more important piece for me, as I've gotten really engaged with our partners and some of the clients through our platform and the work that we've done, the humans that live inside of insurance are just generally awesome humans trying to solve really big problems, especially middle market brokerage. When you look at the best trusted advisors, they're really trying to engage with their clients in a way that is additive. They make sure they ask the right questions so they got the right cover. And they want to be not only their friend, but their trusted confidant to make sure, to your point, those tools that they sold not only cover their risk, but allow them to achieve their goals and ambitions as a business without having any sort of harm to the corporation. So when you put those things together, to your point, sometimes it gets a bad rap. But the human side of insurance, especially if we started to build innovation, I've never seen an industry that's more hungry for the opportunity to do it better, because everyone wants our clients to win. Everyone wants our clients to feel that they've got the best partner, and they've got the best value, and they've got the best opportunity in the space. And to do that, you've got to have really empathetic, caring associates that want their clients to win. And that is one thing about the insurance industry, whether it's our carrier partners, whether it's broker partners, whether they're wholesalers, those who have the empathy to make sure our clients win in a way that allows all partners to win. It's just a very, very cool space. And I've really enjoyed getting to know a lot of amazing folks in it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for coming today. Yeah, I look forward to see you guys continue to grow. I'm glad that we ran into each other, and it's awesome to have you on today.
Thank you, Tony. I really appreciate it. And we'll stay tuned into Insure Nerds and all the awesome stuff that you're doing on your podcast here, Profiles in Risk. And thank you so much for having us be on the show, and can't wait to see what you have next, and really appreciate the time. Thank you.